Hi everyone! So before I start this video officially, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Sophie, I'm 19 years old, I'm currently taking a year off from school where I'm studying acting, and I'm a bisexual woman. So I wanted to start making these videos because I've become hyper aware of a lot of biphobia and bisexism in society, in general, in the world, in America, on the internet, everywhere. And I guess I'll just start by saying that I myself came out when I was 16, realized that I was bisexual. I was never really in the closet. As soon as I was like 100% sure, I was like, that's it, I'm coming out. So I was pretty lucky. I grew up in a town, in an area, went to a school, lived with a family that was all very liberal, very open-minded, all that great stuff. So at least in the beginning stages, I didn't really experience a whole lot of negative attitude or criticism about my bisexuality. And yes, there were a few family members who were kind of thrown and weren't really sure how to react and maybe said a couple things, but over time they kind of got used to it, or at least pretended to get used to it. So yeah. It wasn't really until recently that I started experiencing more biphobia. And even like when I first came out, there was like a time when like someone called me a faggot once and I cried and I just thought, oh, that person was mean or whatever. But like I said, as I've gotten older and I've gotten more experience in the world, and again, I'm only 19, I know I don't have like a wealth of experience, but as I've gotten more of it, I've noticed more negative attitude about bisexuality. For example, I am a volunteer at GLSEN, which I love. Shout out to GLSEN. Woo! And I attended a conference or a workshop that was supposed to train me to be able to go into schools and educate teachers, principals, guidance counselors, psychologists, etc. on LGBT issues. And I went, and it was amazing. And everyone there was amazing. I want to make that clear. I have absolutely no problems with any of the people who were there, including the two facilitators who were awesome. But the whole time, I felt really alienated from the rest of the group because I was the only bisexual person there. Or at least to my knowledge, I was the only bisexual person who said I was bisexual. There could have been other bisexual people there, but I didn't know about it. Everyone else, to my knowledge, was either gay or straight. And so I felt really different because I felt like I was experiencing the training differently as a bisexual person. And a lot of the people there, despite the fact that they were all GLSEN volunteers and board members, etc., didn't know a whole lot about bisexuality, were a little unrehearsed on the subject and got some of the terms wrong and got some of the concepts wrong and called it different things, and and even the facilitators were their definition was a little wrong. And that's okay. And I talked to them about it, and of course everyone was really understanding. But it felt kind of weird. I felt really left out. And it wasn't really talked about. GLSEN in general doesn't really talk about bisexuality a whole lot. They touch on it, but homosexuality and transgender are talked about a lot, but bisexuality really isn't. And I feel like it really needs to be, because a lot of people don't understand it, which is kind of why I'm making the video. And so there was that. And then really recently, actually, just like a couple days ago, there was a Facebook page called LGBT News. Now, I'm not knocking LGBT News. I love LGBT News. They're hilarious, they're deep, they're awesome, they're funny, they're great. But I feel like they made a mistake and had a lapse in judgment by posting this picture of, I think it was like something on Twitter. It was like @SingleGayLife. I don't use Twitter, so I don't get that whole @ stuff. But it was @SingleGayLife. And the question was, would you ever date a bi guy? And they hashtagged it bisexuality and wrote, would you? And I thought that was outrageous. it invites so much, like to even pose the question, invites so much negative attitude and stereotyping and just awful. And no, not everyone who commented had something mean to say. Some people were like, I see no problem with it, that's fine, whatever, it was fine. Some people either wrote really ignorant things, which again, I understand not all ignorant things are malicious, and not all of them were. You know, there were some comments like, I don't think I would because, you know, as a gay man, if I dated a bisexual guy, he might leave me for a woman because he wants to be more normal, or, you know, stuff like that. And then there were really mean things, just like hell no, or F no, or they cheat, or whatever. It was kind of like a you people situation. And I feel like we get that a lot, like a you people thing. We get that a lot. So I was really upset because LGBT News is a page I follow religiously. I follow this page religiously, and I really respect them. And to post something like that, I was really hurt and surprised that they would. So there was that. And that's an LGBT organization, and I want to make that clear, that there is biphobia and bisexism not just in the straight community. There's biphobia and bisexism in the LGBT community as well. So that's unfortunate. So I started noticing all this, and I wanted to do something, which is when I decided to join Glisten and, you know, work through them. And I did start writing a book, which hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, will be published eventually at some point in the future. But it's not immediate. It's I'm writing this book, and I can't even guarantee it'll be published. Again, hopefully, but even then, I'm not done with it yet, and even when I'm done with it, it's probably going to be a pretty long process before it actually gets published. So I thought to myself, I want to do something now. I want to make an impact now. And I thought, YouTube. Perfect. I mean, yes, you know, there are a lot of stupid videos on YouTube, and there are a lot of like animals wearing clothes and all that stuff, but which is great, which is funny, and it's great. But it's also a place where people express themselves and teach people things. So I decided that I wanted to start uploading videos to YouTube about bisexuality and, you know, hopefully educate people a little bit more on it. And when I say educate, I'm not insinuating that you're all ignorant fools or that whatever. I just mean that there's always more to learn, and that if you're interested, hopefully you can learn something about bisexuality by watching my videos. And I want to make something really, really clear. I'm not speaking for the whole bisexual community. It is physically impossible to do that, which is something I will talk about in 5 seconds. I am just speaking from my perspective from what I know based on the people I know and the things I've read. Yeah. So I wanted to make that clear. So before I end the video, I want to at least give like a brief summary of what bisexuality is, just to get the ball rolling. So bisexuality is the concept that a person, a man or a woman, or transgender or anything in between, has the capacity to be attracted to both sexes, male and female. This does not mean that you are only attracted to males and females. I myself am only attracted to males and females. However, there are bisexuals out there who are also attracted to transgendered people, gender fluid people, bigendered people, genderqueer people. There's a whole lot of genders out there. I promise we'll talk about all of them one day, but not right now. This also does not mean that all bisexual people are attracted to both genders equally. There are bisexual people who are more attracted to men, more attracted to women, and attracted to both sexes equally, and even then there's a fluidness, which is the third point, is that bisexuality is experienced differently by everyone. Bisexuality is a really unique experience, and that's not to say that the other sexual orientations aren't. I'm just talking about bisexuality specifically. Everyone experiences bisexuality differently. Again, it's very fluid, there's a scale. if you ask one bisexual person what bisexuality means to them, it's going to be really, really different from the answer you'll get from another bisexual person. So that's just to start things off. But hopefully you guys will have a lot of questions. And I want to make something really, really clear. I know there are haters out there. I know. And I know there are going to be people who comment really nasty things at the bottom of this video, like fag or whatever. And I want to make something really clear to those people. I don't give a crap. The one good thing about not being exposed to biphobia early and not knowing it was there was growing up or growing into my bisexuality, believing that it was truly 100% okay and that I shouldn't be ashamed of it. And I never have been, and I never will be. And I promise you that there is absolutely nothing you can say to me that will make me ashamed of who I am. Nope, nothing. So feel free to post whatever you want. I can't stop you. I support your right to do it. But I don't care. I just wanted to make that clear. So, to the rest of you, I hope that you post legitimate questions and comments and anything you want me to address in the next video, questions you might have. And I will read all of them, I promise. And I will make another video next week addressing the most common thread, I guess, about what your questions and concerns are. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.